Good day, sir. Today our group will discuss all about the biogeochemical cycle of nitrogen. Nitrogen. Nitrogen is the chemical element with a symbol N and atomic number 7. Nitrogen is a non-metal and the lightest member of the group 15 of the periodic table, often called the nitrogen. Common element in the universe, estimated as 7 in total in the Milky Way and the solar system. Temperature and pressure, two atoms of the elements bind to form and to a colorless and odorless diatomic gas, and to form about 78% of the Earth's atmosphere, making it the most abundant uncombined element. Nitrogen occurs in all organisms, primarily in amino acids and thus protein. In the nucleic acid, DNA and RNA, in the energy transfer molecules, adenosine triphosphate. The nitrogen cycle describes about of the elements from the air into the biosphere and organic compounds then back into atmosphere. Nitrogen can be found in all living organisms of the earth while also being in the soil, water, and air. It is an important component in biological compounds found all throughout nature. Nitrogen gas, also referred to as N2 of the periodic table of the elements making up 78.1% of the Earth's air. Furthermore, nitrogen is the key nutrient element for plants. However, the abundant nitrogen in the atmosphere cannot be used directly by plants or animals. Listen and explore how the nitrogen cycle makes usable nitrogen available to plants and other living organisms.
What is nitrogen cycle? Nitrogen cycle is biogeochemical process through which nitrogen is converted into many forms, consecutively passing from the atmosphere to the soil to organisms and back into the atmosphere. It involves several processes such as nitrogen fixation, nitrification, denitrification, decay, and putrefaction. Nitrogen gas exists in both organic and inorganic forms. Organic nitrogen exists in living organisms, and they get passed through the food chain by the consumption of other organisms.
Process of the nitrogen cycle consists of the following steps. Nitrogen fixation process. It is the initial step of the nitrogen cycle. During the process of nitrogen fixation, the inert form of nitrogen gas is deposited into soils from the atmosphere and surface waters, mainly through precipitation. The interprocess of nitrogen fixation is completed by symbiotic bacteria. Nitrogen fixation can occur either by atmospheric fixation, which involves lightning, or industrial fixation by manufacturing ammonia under high temperature and pressure conditions. These can also be fixed through man-made processes, primarily industrial processes, that create ammonia and nitrogen-rich fertilizers.
Nitrification. So in this process, the ammonia is converted into nitrate by the process of bacteria in the soil. Nitrites are formed by the oxidation of ammonia with the help of Nitrosomas bacteria species. Later, the produced nitrites are converted into nitrates by Nitrobacter. This conversion is very important as ammonia gas is toxic for plants. Assimilation. Primary producers. Plants takes in the nitrogen compounds from the soil with the help of their roots, which are available in the form of ammonia, nitrate ions, or ammonium ions, and are used in the formation of the plant and animal proteins. This way, it enters the food web when the primary consumers eat plants. Ammonification. When plants or animals die, the nitrogen present in the organic matter is released back in the soil. The decomposer, namely bacteria or fungi present in the soil, convert the organic matter back into the ammonium. Denitrification is carried out by the denitrifying bacterial species, Clostridium and Pseudomonas, which will process nitrate to gain oxygen and give out free nitrogen gas as a byproduct.
Nitrogen cycle in marine ecosystem. The process of the nitrogen cycle occurs in the same manner in the marine ecosystem as in the terrestrial ecosystem. The only difference is that it's carried out by marine bacteria. The nitrogen containing compounds fall into the ocean as sediments get compressed over long periods and form sedimentary rock. Initially, it was not known that these nitrogen containing sedimentary rocks are an essential source of nitrogen, but recent researchers have proved that the nitrogen forms this rock is released into the plants due to the weathering of rocks.
So the importance of nitrogen cycles are as follows. Helps plants to synthesize chlorophyll from the nitrogen compounds, helps in converting inert nitrogen gas into a usable form for the plants through the biochemical process. In the process of ammonification, the bacteria helps in decomposing the animal and plant matter, which indirectly helps to clean up the environment. Nitrates and nitrites are released into the soil, which helps in enriching the soil with the necessary nutrients required for the cultivation. Nitrogen is an integral component of cell and it forms many crucial compounds and important biomolecules.
Conclusion. Nitrogen is abundant in the atmospheric, but it is unusable to plants and animals unless it is converted into nitrogen compounds. Nitrogen-fixing bacteria play a crucial role in fixing atmospheric nitrogen into nitrogen compounds that can be used by plants.
During the final stages of the nitrogen cycle, bacteria and fungi help decompose organic matter where the nitrogenous compound get dissolved into the soil which is again used by the plants. Some bacteria then convert this nitrogenous compound in the soil and turn it into nitrogen gas. Eventually, it goes back to the atmosphere.
Thank you for listening and watching. God bless.